My name is Elena Mercer, and the moment my father shoved me down the stairs, I understood something that would take him years to realize. I was never his daughter. I was just someone he could blame. It happened fast. One accusation. One shout. One violent push. My back slammed into the wooden steps, pain exploding through my spine while relatives stood frozen at the top, watching. "You stole from me," he roared, his voice echoing through the house I had grown up in. I couldn't breathe. "I didn't," I whispered. But truth didn't matter. Not to him. Not when his safe was empty and he needed someone weak enough to carry the weight of his rage. My mother didn't help me up. My brother didn't speak. No one did. He pointed toward the door, like I was something disposable. "Get out. You're not family anymore." I left that night with nothing but the clothes I was wearing and a silence so heavy it followed me for years. No money. No calls. No apologies. He erased me like I had never existed. Until one morning, years later, my phone lit up with his name. I stared at it, unmoving, because the man who had thrown me away was finally calling me back. And I already knew why. I didn't answer. Not at first. I let the phone ring until the screen went dark, until his name disappeared like it had done so many times before. Silent, absent, non-existent. He called again, and again. By the third time, curiosity replaced shock. I answered without speaking. For a moment, there was only breathing on the other end. Then his voice. Older. Fragile. Smaller. "Elena." He had never sounded like that before. "I need to talk to you." I didn't respond. The silence stretched long enough to make him uncomfortable. "They found something," he said finally. "In the basement." My chest tightened. I hadn't set foot in that house in 8 years. Not since the night he shoved me out of it like I was nothing. "They found what was missing," he added. I closed my eyes, because I already knew what he meant. The money. The money he had accused me of stealing. The money he destroyed our relationship over. "It wasn't you," he said quietly. The words fell flat. Not relief. Not closure. Just confirmation. "I need you to come home," he whispered. Home. The word meant nothing now, because he had taken it from me long before I ever left. I didn't agree to go, but I didn't refuse either. I just listened while he filled the silence with explanations that arrived 8 years too late. "It was hidden behind the old storage wall," he said. "Inside a rusted lockbox." I remembered that wall. Concrete. Cold. Forgotten. The place he used to store things he didn't trust anyone to touch. Including me. "They think it was moved years ago," he continued. "Misplaced during renovations." Misplaced. Not stolen. Not by me. I sat at my kitchen table, staring at my reflection in the dark screen of my laptop. "I told everyone," he said quickly. "I told them you were innocent." I almost laughed. Innocent. Like I had been on trial all these years. Like he had been the judge. "Your mother wants to see you," he added softly. My chest tightened, not from longing but from memory. She hadn't defended me. She hadn't spoken. She had watched me fall. "You should come home," he said again. I let the silence answer him. Because the house he wanted me to return to wasn't home anymore. It was just a place where he finally had to face what he had done. And he wasn't ready for what I had become without him. He kept calling. Not angry. Not demanding. Just persistent. Each time, his voice carried something unfamiliar. Not authority. Not certainty. Regret. "Elena," he said during one call, his voice unsteady. "I made a mistake." A mistake. Like pushing your daughter down the stairs was a misplaced word. Like erasing her life was an accounting error. I sat in my office, sunlight spilling across the desk I had earned myself, in a city he had never seen. "You didn't make a mistake," I said calmly. "You made a choice." He didn't argue. That silence told me more than any apology could. "I was wrong," he whispered. The words landed gently, but they didn't heal anything. Because apologies don't rewind time. They don't undo years of absence. They don't rebuild someone you forced to rebuild herself alone. "They found the lockbox behind the concrete panel," he continued. "I told everyone. The family knows now. I closed my eyes. For years, they had believed his version of me. Now they had to face the truth. But truth wasn't a gift. It was a consequence. And consequences don't disappear just because someone finally admits they were wrong. They stay. Permanent. Like the person I had become without him. A week later, I agreed to meet him. Not at the house. Not in the place where he had rewritten my identity with one violent moment. At a quiet cafe halfway between his world and mine. He arrived early. I saw him through the window before he saw me. He looked smaller. Not physically. Just diminished. Like the certainty he once carried had collapsed under the weight of his own actions. When I walked in, he stood up too fast, like he wasn't sure how to exist in the same room as me anymore. "Elena," he said, his voice breaking slightly. I sat across from him. I didn't hug him. I didn't smile. I just waited. He slid an envelope across the table with shaking hands. Inside were photographs, the lockbox, the money, the basement wall torn open. Proof. Proof he should have believed in the first place. "I was wrong," he said again. Not defensive. Not proud. Just broken. I looked at the photos, then at him. For years, I had imagined this moment. Imagined the relief. The vindication. But all I felt was distance. Because the truth didn't give me back what he had taken. It only proved I had survived without it. And he was just beginning to understand that. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out another envelope. Thicker this time. He placed it on the table, but didn't push it toward me. "I've updated everything," he said quietly. "The house. The accounts. Everything that should have been yours." I didn't touch it. For years, I had struggled to afford rent, to build stability from nothing while he lived comfortably inside the certainty of his accusation. Now he wanted to fix it with paperwork. "I can't undo what I did," he said, "but I can make it right." Make it right. Like justice could be calculated. Like trust could be transferred. I looked at his hands. They trembled. Not with anger, with fear. Because he wasn't offering power anymore. He was asking for forgiveness. And for the first time in his life, he didn't control the outcome. "I don't need your money," I said calmly. His eyes lifted to mine, fragile. "I needed your belief." He closed his eyes. The weight of that truth settled between us, heavier than anything inside that lockbox. And in that moment, he realized something he had never considered before. I had already built a life that didn't include him. He didn't argue. He didn't defend himself. For the first time in my life, my father had nothing to say. "I thought I was protecting what I built," he admitted quietly. "I never thought I was destroying you." Destroying me. The word lingered between us. I remembered the cold pavement outside the house that night. The way no one followed me. The way the door had closed without hesitation. He had destroyed the version of me that trusted him. But he hadn't destroyed me. "I spent years wondering what I did wrong," I said. Years carrying something that was never mine. His eyes filled, but he didn't interrupt. Because this wasn't about his pain. It was about mine. "They all believed you," I continued. "Every single person." He nodded slowly, ashamed. "I told them the truth now," he whispered. I met his gaze steadily. "That truth doesn't change who you were when it mattered." He flinched. Not from anger. From recognition. Because he understood now. This wasn't a moment he could repair. It was a life he had already lost. And he was only now beginning to feel the absence he had created. He called again a week later. Not to argue. Not to defend himself. Just to ask one question. "Is there anything I can do?" I stood by my apartment window, watching the city move without him, without the past he had once controlled. For years, I had imagined hearing those words. I thought they would feel like victory. They didn't. They felt like closure. "There is," I said finally. Silence filled the line. "You can live with what you did." He didn't answer. Because he understood. Forgiveness wasn't something he could request. It was something he had already lost the right to expect. That night, I opened the envelope he had given me. Inside were deeds, account transfers, signatures trying to restore what he had taken. I closed it gently, and placed it in a drawer. Not rejected, not accepted, just irrelevant. Because the life I had built wasn't waiting for his approval anymore. He had called me begging, believing he could still shape the ending. But the ending wasn't his to decide. It was mine.